Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with Our Crafty Playdate, and today we are going to be making this card here. This is our Christmas Club series. We get together and we make 4 cards of each kind once a month. So we would make 12 cards each month, and we're done around Thanksgiving time. And then you've got 60 handmade cards because we started back in July. So definitely go back and search through some of my previous Christmas clubs. If nothing else, if you can't find the materials, at least you could use the layouts. Don't forget, you can always use somebody else's layout. All right, so we are going to make this one today. Before I get started, I do want to say that I am using a lot of retired things today in our cards, and it's not a Stampin' Up! Problem. It's not a supply chain issue or anything like that. I just have not ordered a lot of Christmas yet this year. I had so much in my collection, and I thought it might be good to show you, hey, you have these old sets, pull them out, recycle them. If you can't find these sets, contact me. I might be able to help you find some of them. If you see something that you love and you can't find it, I may be able to find it for you. Otherwise, there are definitely things on our website you can use instead that would work out just as well. If you decide you want to order a kit, you would get everything that you need. Bows would be tied, embossing would be done, knots would be tied. The only thing that may not be done for you is you won't have the stamped image. So the stamped parts you wouldn't have because Stampin' Up! Policy prevents us from selling the stamped images in a kit. Okay, so I'm going to get started. So let's get going. This card warms my heart, and I'll show you why in just a minute. I am using some old stuff. This is a stamp set called Warm Hugs. It was in a Christmas catalog a couple years ago. It had little cups that went with it and little wrappers that you could put on little baby cups. Super cute, but it works even without the cup. You don't have to have the wrapper, but it did have dies that go with it also, just so you know. We're also using pecan pie ink and paper and white cardstock. So let's get started. This is just a standard card base of our basic white cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and fold that. I like to change it up sometimes. Sometimes I like to make them, instead of being, a standard card like this, I like for it to be a bottom open card. So it's really up to you and what fits with your paper. This is pecan pie paper. It is 5.5 by 1 3/4. That means it's going to go all the way edge to edge. Okay. And then this piece is actually current. It's in our paper that is like a cafe. Oh, look at that. Isn't that fun? It's in our online exclusive. So we have a whole section that's just like coffee themed stamps, dies, papers. And I probably could have used some of those stamps and dies, but I wanted to use these. In any case, so this is one of our cafe things. This looks like what your little barista would draw in your coffee foam. This piece of designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 1.5, so it's just slightly smaller. And I am going to go ahead and glue these on here. Let's see. Let's make sure that I can glue that on. Sorry, my glue is a little clogged. I was going to show in one of our past videos, we used a dental floss threader to tie it. It was in this card. We used a dental floss threader to put it through the hole there. But these same dental floss threaders work great if your glue ever clogs. If you have this kind of glue that you get from Stampin' Up! And it clogs, this is stiff enough, this dental floss threader, that it goes right in there. It's the perfect size, and you can stick it way in and pull it out, and it will unclog your glue, rather than like trying to dig around in there with scissors and then getting your scissors all goopy. All right, so that's taken care of. And now let's go ahead and tie our ribbon. Our ribbon is actually incredibly cool. It's actually leather. It is gold leather, really. It's a trim. I don't know if you can tell there, but it is actually a strip of leather that they put gold on. And I just think it is the coolest stuff ever. But it doesn't tie. It's stiff still. So this is, I think, the best way to use it. I just tied it in a knot, just a regular simple knot, pulled it gently so that I could keep the gold coming from both sides. And then I want it to really be the knot on this side. So I'm going to put it right like that. All right, so to do that, I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to hold it here, and I'm going to tape it with tape. And it's important that you don't try to use any different kind of adhesive on this. Really, your best bet is going to be your favorite Scotch tape. All right, and so then this is going to come around, and I'm going to cut it here. And then I'm going to tape it on this side also. All right, so that is this piece here. And it is just flat on glued. So I'm going to glue this. Is it glued? Nope, it's dimensionals. Sometimes I forget. I make these and then I come back later to make the video and then I forget how I did it. So then I have to double check. All right, so generally I would say you want to put one in the middle, but we're not going to put one in the middle because this is also on dimensionals and I don't want your card to be too high profile. If you make it too tall from, you know, back to front this way, if it's too high, it won't, when you go to mail it, it will be extra postage. So we're going to not put one here so that when we put our cups on there, our cup on there, it won't be a crazy thing that we have to deal with. All right. So I'm going to stick this right on the front, not an issue, and that's done. And now I'm going to stamp on my cup. My cup was a die set that we had a while back with the coffee, an old coffee thing, and this was his lid. You can make the lid in whatever color you want that fits your card, but I just thought this mocha color was just so great. I put a little sticker on here to remind me of, because this stamp is circle, I could really be doing it anyway, but I really want this to be at the top so that it says warm hugs across the top. So I put this little just thing on here. It's just like one of those tabs you get and it comes right off. But I did it so that when I go to stamp it, I will not stamp it upside down or sideways on my cup. All right, so I should really put a mat under here just in case. Let's do that. Okay, and I'm gonna stamp it right there. 1, 2, 3. And then I love this little cup. It had a lot of things you could put inside, but I really liked the cup. This thing that looks weird, it actually, you can stamp it on the cup. So if I wanted the cup to have this red pattern on it, I could do that. But I just wanted the empty hollow cup in there. So I'm just going to ink that up and eyeball it there. Okay, and that's it for my stamping for right now, but I want to show you something later. Now with this die, I just cut it out. It's just a normal die. But one of the things that I did that makes it much easier to attach it in another one is I took tear and tape. So this is our tear and tape. I also find it through other sources where it's really super skinny, and I mean, it only works for certain things, but this is actually ideal for it. It's a double-sided tape. Our tear and tape is fabulous, but it's wide, and I would have had to trim it down, and I did not want to do that. So this will work, and it will stick this lid on just like that without me having to worry too much about it. So that cup is done, and I can go ahead and put that on with some dimensionals also. Now with my dimensionals on this, one thing that I want to watch for is I want to make sure that I'm straddling this ribbon. I don't want to try and put a dimensional right on it or it'll just kind of rock. So I want to kind of do one up here and I want to do one down here. And that way my cord is going to go right through the middle there. I'm going to angle it. So my dimensionals are here straddling that cord. So that's all that she needs on that. And then I used the gems. They are called Festive Pearls. And I got them all over my hand in one of my other videos, but now I don't seem to know where I put them. I just buried them under my stamps. Okay, so I showed you last time how you can color. If you can only find silver ones, if we don't have these anymore and you really want colors, I just colored that with a marker. You cannot use a normal marker. Use a Sharpie or an alcohol-based marker. If you use a normal marker on that, what will happen is you'll color on it and then you'll do this and it will dye your finger. It'll slide right off your marker, so it will make a serious mess of your card. So this, because the leather, because the leather strap has gold in it, we are using our gold colored gems. I always start in the middle, and then it helps me center better. If I start on one side, I have a tendency to crowd on one area and then have them too far spaced on the other. So that's this card. It's all stamped and done. But you know what? There was a stamp. See, that's how it was in class. There was a stamp in this same set that I just love. It says, "You're the marshmallows to my cocoa." I just think, seriously, that is the cutest thing. So if you decided that this card is more cocoa than coffee, which I could definitely see that, you could stamp this stamp inside. Now that I've done it, I hope I do it well. In general, if I were going to stamp a long skinny stamp like this inside of a card, if I were going to do that, I would not stamp it inside the card. I would stamp it before I put everything on it, because if I hated it, I could make this the inside and then flip it over so that I'm gluing something on top of it and you would never know. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm just gonna bring in something to hold that there while I stamp this. You're the marshmallows to my cocoa. So cute. All right, so that's it for today's card. I hope that you liked it. If you like this kit, I do have a little bit more, and I can make a couple of kits, but I don't have a lot because this is retired. These are a lot of retired items. I will list things that I used in the description below, or things that you might be able to switch out and use instead. But I did say that this paper is current in the current, it's not in the current catalog, it's in the online exclusives. So if you go to my website and you go to online exclusives, you'll see it there. Or if you just click on the item in the description below, it'll take you right to that item and you'll see the different papers in that set. All right, you're all set. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you enjoyed today's cards, and we will see you in our next Christmas club. Bye-bye.